Hello, and welcome to the Virtura Network Controller tutorial video series. Today, we will be going over enabling SSH and SFTP, as well as disabling Telnet. The reason you need to enable SSH is because once Telnet server is disabled, remote communication is only possible via SSH. We must verify SSH access to the NE is possible before disabling Telnet. So first, you'll need to log into your VNC server and make sure that you have the proper permissions to make changes on an NE. After that, you'll want to go under the Network tab, and under the Topology view, you'll want to find the NE that you're going to work on. And in this example, we'll be using our FLASHWAVE CDS-10 here. And so once you found it in the Topology view, you'll want to hover over the icon, right-click, and you'll want to launch the TL1 terminal. Once you've launched the TL1 terminal, you can go ahead and log in. Alright, so we've logged in. The first command we'll be inputting is to generate the host SSH key and provide it a seed to do so. Okay, so that came back as completed, but we'll want to wait for a response from the NE that the key generation is complete. Alright, great. Key generation is complete. So then afterwards, we'll want to go ahead and put SSH into service. Alright, SSH is in service. Then afterwards, we'll put SFTP into service. Okay, so that came back as completed. Finally, we'll go ahead and reinitialize the operation interface to make sure that our changes are made. Okay, so that came back as completed. So we'll go ahead and give it a few seconds for it to come back up online. So before we move on to the next part, we'll want to verify that SSH and SFTP are working. So just as a note for SSH, there are actually two SSH protocols, DSS and RSA. In most Linux distributions, DSS is disabled by default. What this means for older FLASHWAVE devices and releases is that it will not work unless you either modify the SSH command to allow you to use DSS or upgrade your FLASHWAVE 9500 to release 9.5.1 or your CDS to release 6.7.1, which have added RSA support. So we'll go ahead and test SSH by forcing the old protocol with our custom command. Okay. As you can see, we have access to NE through SSH. And quickly, we'll just launch the TL1 terminal to see if our SFTP is actually in service. As you can see, the state is in service. Now that's done, we can go ahead and move on to disabling Telnet. The reason why you might want to disable Telnet is because of security compliance reasons, as Telnet is quite insecure. I'll show you that Telnet is actually working on our NE. As you can see, we can access the NE through Telnet. So what you'll want to do next is go over to the configuration tab, and under the list you'll want to find the NE that you want to work on. And in this example, like I mentioned before, we'll be using FLASHWAVE CDS-10. You'll want to first change the protocol over to SSH and then change the port number to 3022. Okay, NE is resyncing. Okay, we'll go back into our network tab and we'll go ahead and get back into the TL1 terminal. You might have to log in. Alright, so first off, we'll go ahead and take FTP out of service. Okay, that came back as completed. And then we'll go ahead and take Telnet out of service. Okay, that came back as completed. And finally, we'll go ahead and reinitialize the operation interface to make sure that our changes take effect. Awesome. So we'll go ahead and wait for a few seconds for it to come back up. And I'll go ahead and launch my terminal so we can test to see if Telnet is still working on our NE. So let's go ahead and launch Telnet again. As you can see, the connection was refused and we are no longer able to access Telnet. So that's all. I hope it was useful. If you have any questions, please reach out to your Fujitsu representative. And thank you for your time.